2, text 16. Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Guruni cha Laguni cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Guruni cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi
Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Guruni cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi
Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Guruni cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi
Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Guruni cha Laguni cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi
Then this
Gurunam cha Lagunam cha Guruni cha Prayaschitani Papanam Yadvoktani Maharshivihi
Gurunam heavy cha
and
Lagunam light cha also Guruni heavy cha and Laguni light cha also Prayaschitani the process of atonement Papanam of sinful activities Yadva knowing perfectly well Bhaktani have been described Maharshivi by great sages. Translation. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for the lighter sins by undergoing a lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhana, and since, according to Kshatriya custom, one is not offered a Kshatriya daughter unless he displays his chivalrous valor, Samba abducted her. Consequently, Samba was arrested by the Kauravas. Later, when Lord Balaram came to rescue him, there was an argument about Samba's release. Since the argument was not settled, Balaram showed his power in such a way that all of Hastinapura trembled and would have been vanquished as if by a great earthquake. Then the matter was settled, and Samba married Duryodhana's daughter. The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose protective power is so great that it cannot be equaled in the material world. However powerful the reactions of one's sins, they will be immediately vanquished if one chants the name of Hari, Krishna or Narayana. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanami Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Prachayani Vishesha Shnivadi Pashkati Vizata. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sin by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for the lighter sins by undergoing a lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. So, certainly good news for the conditioned souls, delivered here in this shloka and this purport, because we are here caught or captured in the material world in an intricate network of action and reaction. It's actually a system which you cannot get out, because it's like being pushed, and that pushing, if you go on the street and somebody starts to push you, well, you may end up being pushed into somebody else, or into something. It's not that what you planned, it's not that what you had in mind, but it happens. One pushed the other. Actually, there's a whole science on this. It becomes very dangerous. Somebody who could have a good report on this is those who designed the football stadiums. Because in the history of this kind of pretty useless and concocted game, the immense disasters occurred when all the residents of the football stadium got in panic at once, and were heading for the exit doors, which were far too small to accommodate that amount of people with that kind of speed. And then people start to kill each other, just trampling not over each other, but the power of the mass of the bodies was so strong, it started to smack the other bodies against the walls and against anything which was solid. Just not even running too fast, just by accumulating. So then they developed a whole system how to design stadiums which will have areas where people can spill out and release that pressure from the mass of accumulated bodies. So here in the material world we are all mass of accumulated bodies. And being pressurized by the material energy, we start to step on each other and bump into each other and without actually planning to do so. Just by accumulating, friction arises. First, it's in the mental platform, then it takes a physical shape. So, therefore, to coexist with others in this world of, cheaters and cheated, abusers and abused ones, therefore, Mr. Darwin summed it up. He concluded, and on the basis of this theory, you can become a really good demon, that mind is right. The strongest survive. So just hit it with the maximum force. That's how the way nature works. Don't you see? The strong one eats the weak one. And he had no little comment. It doesn't apply to human society. He didn't say that. So then gentlemen like Mr. Hitler and this, and they were just basically Darwinists. They put it into action. Yes, the strongest survive. That's me. And then, that's the logic of a demon. Demon accept only force, violence, power. That is his way of understanding the world. Manidhara Prabhu said there will be no changes made in such a world without force and violence. It's not possible. You cannot tell, my dear demon, you cannot step on others like this. And you cannot preach to Mr. Hitler. It's not possible. He will say, yes, that's very nice, thank you for the information. But don't you see, I'm successful. I stepped on him, I took this and I took that. Who can stop me? So this mentality is again and again coming up in a small version or in a big version in the material world. I mean, the crows are puffed up on their roofs. You saw how puffed these creatures are? They just jump around and go, yeah, that's my street here. And yeah, that's my garbage bag. And I will now feast on whatever is in the garbage bag. That's me. I saw it in Norrland in Sweden, we are in Sankirtan. A whole army of crows is entirely capable to mess up a whole city. They love to jump simply in the garbage bags in the shopping street, tear all the newspaper and everything out, rip it in small pieces and spread it everywhere. Just to demonstrate our shopping street. We can do anything we want here. Who can stop me? I'm the big crow. So so this is material nature. It's a very disgusting place, material world, where constant struggle for dominance is prevailing. So here, to be caught in such a network which automatically leads to act sinfully, and being caused to act sinfully, and in this way performing sinful action, inducing others to act sinfully. So it's a sharing of, sinful actions in various forms. Therefore Krishna also puts us in an animal species of life where this is happening, there's no sin for animals, they just act out the reactions of their previous sin. But for humans this is very dangerous, because simply by breathing you are affecting somebody, by existing you are affecting somebody. Constantly, there's a constant social friction. Therefore Mayavada philosophy is taking place in all kinds of forms, in social forms, socialism, communism, all these kind of things. This is very popular because people feel, that's the way to forget the sinful reaction. Socialism means just to share the sinful reaction equally with each other. Nobody should enjoy more and nobody should suffer more. We should all suffer and enjoy equally. But it doesn't work. It never works. Because somebody is assigned to more sinful reactions, somebody to less. And there will be a difference. It will never be the same. There will be always, people who will prevail with money and power. Even you try to make it equal like hell, they always devise more taxes for the rich and more distribution for the poor. But even amongst the bums, there are those who are more successful in collecting old bottles and those who are less successful in collecting less bottles. There are those, amongst criminals there is divisions. There's divisions everywhere. It's never can be observed that we are the same. We don't have the same sound of the voice, we don't have the same shape of the body. We are just in the same mess. Yes, we are the same. We are drowning in this ocean where we are tossed around, bump into each other, going, where are you coming from? And then we go, I think, in my opinion, you shouldn't be here. No, I believe, no. We have a big discussion while we are on the top of the wave, and then the waves are changing, and we are separated again. And we think, where is he? And we speculate, he ran away, he was afraid of me, I couldn't talk to him. No, he was just separated, torn apart. And then comes the whole group of them swimming and drowning, and they bump into them. It's called United Nations. They collect themselves like, and they give speeches, and then the material nature separates them again. And again, so this is the beginning when people start to become more Krishna conscious, when they feel the impact of the material energy is so powerful. Actually, we have no control. Then the question is, who is controlling the next thing? That's a logical question. Then they start to ask questions. How could this happen? Therefore in a violent situation, wars and this, people get sometimes more introspective. They start to act, how is it possible such an atrocity being performed so smoothly? How can people be so geniusly cruel? This is superhuman, this is not normal. Normal person is not able to act like this. This is superhumanly cruel. So that's actually what we are already experiencing all the time. It's just because it's on a level which is not affecting us that much, so we don't ask these questions. But when something very radical happens, I remember we had one bhakta in Czech Republic. His job was paragliding. So he was always on his shoot hanging somewhere in a landscape. And he made a job out of it. They made it to a therapy, working in an institution, therapy for young people who were still strong, but they went through some severe car accident or something, very severe. They lost the legs or they lost the arms or whatever. And they could still, this device of paragliding is such, you can still put them in a basket and swing them across the countryside to give them some more optimistic view upon the world. I don't know what that effect is, but he was working like that. So he told me the stories how this young, passionate, determined people, sometimes in 1 minute they were turned into invalids. Completely, woke up in a hospital with no legs after car accidents and this, especially being passionate with all these dangers, always exposed you to some danger. So the whole life changed completely. They were not anymore beautiful, they were not anymore powerful, they were not anymore, all these things they were depending on and working with the whole day were vanished. And they actually end up with a very simple question, who is me? But no, I'm obviously alive. I didn't die yet, but now I have to restructure my whole life, like invalidity. It forces you to act exactly in a way you don't want to act. Mentally you may have an idea, sometimes it's so pathetic, old people, they devise ideas how to be young. And they think by means of dress or certain mode of behavior. You go to this, it's pathetic, one of the most sad places I saw was Canarian Islands, where they accumulate the old Swedes and the old Norwegians and the old, it's just, even the Spanish people speak Swedish, and there you have these resorts where the climate is kind of mild and they're enjoying their pension there, and then you see how they try to recreate their youth again, having nightlife, but everything in a slow motion, everything is pretty quiet, We had a place they called San Augustine. It was like old age home, very suitable for devotees, because devotees are also usually quiet. They just chant Hare Krishna and they want to read and and this, and they don't join this this passion thing. So these pensioners were hanging in the evening in this scarcely illuminated cafes, and they were like dating each other, and they were just but everything was very morbid. It was all with decomposing bodies, and you could see they were very carefully eating this and no sugar in a cafe, and they were just discussing, the doctor said like this, and and exchanging experience of various medicines, and then there was this really old-fashioned music playing, and they were hanging on the dancing, singing each other like two old corpses, and tried to dance something very slow, and it was pathetic because only 8 kilometers further was a town called Playa de Ingles, which was so thundering with discotheque and, passionate nightlife, where the young people were. But nobody made the connection. It's just a question of time, where you end up from this, you go to that. Nobody makes it. This is the most illusory, amazing thing in this material world. Everybody is stuck in their own situation and considers this to be permanent. And here's problems. The babies have problems. The baby is born is a problem. Eat, where eat? Everything goes in the mouth. Big problem. You give anything to a baby, it puts it in the mouth. Keys, nails, anything goes in the mouth. And it thinks this is our world. World is about eating. You see something, you eat it. And they associate with each other. When the two babies are meeting, they pull out of the trolley and they go, hey, there's a baby. What are you eating? And this is their level of communication. What are you eating? And then sometimes they recreate the world of what they consider the grown-up people. There's one hilarious recording of two babies having a very serious philosophical discussion. Standing in a nappies, they're this big. And they go, it sounds almost like devotees arguing. So it's like, it's like the grown-up people go, ha ha ha, babies. No, for them this is real. They are captured in this world. This is real. And you grow up a little bit. And then, and then you are the child. And the children, they have their own world. They think, oh, so cute babies. And then there are these grown-up people, these strange people who always have to go to work. They work and they do all these strange things. They wake up in the morning when I don't. And they don't know how to play really with you. They're always serious about something. It's not fun with these people, They're always concerned about something. No, life is to be a child means you play. You paint and you run around, especially running, very popular, They are like run here, they don't know why, and then they run back, they don't know either, Everything is happening by running. So they don't know you where and why. So that's the child. And you grow up a little bit. And then this very tumultuous time of puberty comes, where your consciousness rises above the body, or let's say, is capable enough to understand, my God, I have this body. And then what do you do with that? And then the sex comes, it's like a violent tornado raging through the body. And you go, whoa, what do I do with that? I want to rape somebody, and you have these dreams, and the mind goes crazy, and every day you assign identities to you, and you don't know who you are, and you don't care for the babies anymore, and the children are stupid. And the grown-up people actually too. It's like, you swing in between, you don't know. And you are creative, you feel power to do so many things, but you don't know what. And then it's a hilarious time. You try to define yourself, but nobody is there to tell you, who are you, and what should you do? Nothing of this, especially in the Western world. It's hilarious. And then, there's no boundaries suddenly, so no shelter, nothing. Then you come out of that, usually by sex life. This is a very good, sex life is like the nails in a coffin. They really locate you, boom. You think sex life is the freedom. No, it's exactly the opposite. It just locates you. In the best case, you end up, being a father or a mother. That's really called grounded, If you take it in a responsible way, it's finished. Dreaming, finished. You are just a servant of the dog, that's all. And you serve and serve and serve. Which is, in a material sense, beneficial because at least you don't have the freedom to create such a heinous sinful activities as you did before. Some Vedic society is about regulation. Everything is guarded. Hey, now comes this. Well, now we have to do that. So for sacrifice and atonement is there too, to put a counterpower against this raging lust which is causing us, and this uncontrolled social friction which is bringing one sinful reaction leads to another all the time. It accumulates more and more until you end up in situations like the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where they were so karmically collected, everybody, and they had to face the reaction of the action. Even Krishna tried to minimize it by preaching to them, it didn't work. So then the reaction has to be served out. So these wars are like violent, grossly expressed. It's like violent when your stomach, if you have something indigestible, your whole body gets poisoned, finally you throw up. Everything has to come out. And then these bodies has to be annihilated, because when you keep that kind of body around, it will produce again chain of action and reaction of the most sinful kind. So that you don't have it. This is what Prabhupada explained to one of my godbrothers, later godbrothers, who just dropped into Prabhupada's lecture in the early stage of this movement, and heard the first thing he heard. He didn't got the beginning, he dropped in the middle, and at the end Prabhupada said, and therefore, when Krishna says kill, you must kill. And he was a pacifist, he just came from the anti-Vietnam demonstration. He was shocked. A saintly man here in New York preaching this. When God says you must kill, you must kill. He was shocked. He was so shocked he forgot to leave. So he immediately after said, what kind of philosophy is this? War, violence, killing. You're advocating this. And Prabhupada calmly looked at him and explained, yes. He said, it is like that. He said, this body produced simply on a certain point, it produced so much havoc then Prabhupada gave an example. It's like when you eat so much nasty things and you get sick from that, you have to fast. Fasting is the remedy. Then no more food. So when this body, you are doing so much nonsense with it, you have to fast from it. It will be taken away from you. And you will get a body where you don't have the capacity to act so sinful. And that's called animal life. Therefore animals, sometimes even people get envious. They think, look how peacefully they coexist. You know, let's say you get a body of a cow, well, you can do some damage, certainly, but cows are not running around looking for trouble. Very peaceful, you know. Sometimes they start to run, but you know, it's not really high speed. You can usually catch up with a cow when it's running. It's not that fast. Horse is a different thing, but and then this kind of body, it's very ecological. It eats in front and pass out the compost in the back. It's like, you know, so that's a very harmless body. You cannot do that much damage. What do you want to do at damage? When you fly as a bird in the sky, who do you want to damage? You can at best or the worst pass stool in people's heads and cars. They like to do that. You know, birds, actually the only thing, vicious birds, the only thing they can do to you, they pass stool on you and everything. You know, and they like it. They especially hate the front shield of the car because they know somehow it's important to you. So they always hit the front shield and they just, you know, and they show you, I'm the big bird in the sky, you cannot reach me. You know, that's it. You know, this is also false ego. They interlake this way too. You know, yeah. We had birds in Germany on our German farm. We had a bird who was, of course, of a very specific kind. It was a being devotee in the last lifetime, a fallen devotee. Because that bird was completely after Maha. It was a crow. That crow was just, you know, normally crows are not that affiliated to humans, but that crow was really focused. She especially likes water as well. And, you know, you normally don't have experience, you chant and the crow comes and sits on your big toes, you know, when you are chanting and whips on your big toes. That crows love to fly in a brahmacharya ashram and tease brahmacharis by stealing even they managed to even drag a whole underwear or piece of gumshoe out of the window, flying out. Hey, look! You know, the crow was always, where's the crow? At that time, actually, in Germany, the temple in Simhachalam was just under construction. It was just a temple, but the kitchen was in a building like here. You had to cross the courtyard. That was actually where the kitchen was. So anytime the pujaris were carrying the offering, they had to really cover it because like a dive bomber, the crow came from the roof and picked up just, you know, the gulab jamun or something like this and just disappeared again. So, you know, so they had made agreement that you can take when we come out with the Maha, but not before. And the crows start to respect that. She knows when they go in, I shouldn't do this. When they come out, hey, now I can make my dive, you know. And she was immediately going for the offering plate, and in flight, just pick up something and came up again. You know, it was like, this is normally not seen like this. This is special karma. So devotee actually is somebody who starts to see things, and that's actually how you can coexist in this material world. You see things being put there, and you see every living entity just simply carrying out their fortune or misfortune. Misfortune, we can say, in material world. So in this way, one becomes tolerant, but it doesn't mean, you know, in a sense of Buddhism, you know, peaceful, that you go, yes, he dropped here, so Hare Krishna. You know,